Everybody, how are you? What a fantastic night, hey? It's what Tuesday night, and it's just been an amazing day. And I'm popping up today for a very special reason because Saturday night I was out and about in the streets of Melbourne connecting with people, and I haven't been really active in connecting on the streets for a little while. Just a few things been happening, so I've just been trying to get back in the groove of it. In the last couple of weeks, last week I did Thursday night, Saturday night. I'm actually out and about again this Friday night with an amazing mate. Just reinvigorating my heart, connecting with people on a level that quite often it's not that easy to do, but the opportunity I get when I actually sit there with somebody I've never met before and connect into them is just amazing. My tool of choice, a pair of socks, really does make a difference. When you walk up to somebody and you go, "Hey, just want to thank you for doing your best right now. Is it okay if I gift you a pair of socks?" What happens in that transaction is something that I adore. You see somebody in a moment. I mean, when was the last time somebody walked up and just thanked you just for doing your best right now? Because we all are. I'm thinking about these things and it's just filling my heart. But tonight, I really want to share with you some of. I love that, and look, Luke, amazing human. Like I just want you to know how proud of you are. You step up all the time. You keep going. Life hasn't always been the best of things for you, but you keep stepping up and having a go at making it better for you. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. So thank you. But the socks, Luke, they do get some looks, don't they? Like I'd love to know, Luke, if you pop in the comments, what some of the questions have been that people have asked you about them, or even better, what some of the conversations that you've gotten into because of them. So, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Luke. But I'm going to start tonight, and I've actually got all of my notes. For the first time ever, I actually kept notes about people I connected with. To what did they share with me? Because I think it's really important to capture that, even if it's just for me, but to share with you some of those conversations. They're just magical because when I get into the conversations, I actually ask people, "What's your one bit of advice for life for me? If you could give me just one bit of advice, what would that be?" So here I am, city of Melbourne. I'm very first person, and what I actually did on Saturday night is I did something a little different. Like you see, you let them wonder, beautiful. But see the shirt right now. This one here, it's a big smiley. It's coming at you. It stands out. It's there for a reason. It literally, the Smilligan is literally a smile emerging from the darkness, and that's how I see what we're doing. I see that we're creating smiles in times that sometimes people don't have the tools to actually get through things. Sometimes people just need a smile to make a difference. And it really does. We're currently rebuilding the website to bring more smiles into the actual community. One of the things we learned recently was about the fact that on the website, it was too much about us, not about what we did. But that's so much life, right? We're focused on what we're doing. We really don't see a lot of what other people are doing. So, without further ado, I do want to share this with you. I almost, yeah, this. I almost fit into my shirt when I reach my fitness goals. I rock. Absolutely, Luke. I love that. Thank you. But I'm gonna go through these. So on Saturday night, because I was wearing the shirt, um, one of the things I wanted to change was my perception of myself and how I was projecting myself. Because I sort of felt like, when you've got people, they're trying to sell you something, or they're trying to give you their apparel, or, vote this or something like this and give you information. They normally wear T-shirts to identify themselves, to actually, collectively stand guard. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I'm being too much in my shirt to actually, that's what I'm projecting. So I actually wore a polo shirt to try and connect with different people. And to be honest, I found it worked. I found I was less invasive to people for that, which created other opportunities. But I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to share with you the very first conversation I had. And so when I came down off Flinders Street Station down under, and there's a gentleman standing up having a cigarette, and I walked past him. I looked at him, standing on his own, and I'm like, okay, he's not my normal target market, so that's somebody that I really want to go and connect with. So I walked up to this person. G'day, mate. Thank you for doing your best right now. I was, oh, brilliant. Shared with him the message of the socks, that we all have dark days, but there's more sunshine. There's more sunshine, there is dark days. Sometimes we just need a reminder. And that was awesome. And then I opened up a conversation. I said, actually, mate, what do you do? So actually, I've been in the armed forces. I said, oh, fantastic. So I asked him a few questions about that, and we had a conversation about what he did in the armed forces. This beautiful gentleman had been in the armed forces for 27 years, and he'd worked in a lot of different places, but one place in particular he worked that really piqued my interest was Ward 17 in Heidelberg. And for those who know Ward 17, it's a special place where there's special care for special people, and it's amazing. So this gentleman had actually had the opportunity to work there. Oh, I'm like, fantastic. I said, let's talk about that and open up bigger conversation. And it did. It turns out he's now been posted somewhere else, and after 27 years, he's actually retiring. And I asked him, I said, listen, that's a long time. What has been your biggest lesson in that time? I didn't expect this, but his biggest lesson was we really don't know how to look after people. That hit home. Yeah, this is somebody that I really value, and especially in line of work he's in, and the opportunities he's brought forward for a lot of people. That was his one big lesson in life, that we need to do better. Anyway, we had a beautiful conversation after that, and we connected further. And what I thought might be a quick 5 minute transaction ended up being a half an hour conversation with a guy I've never met before. And not only did I have a conversation with a guy I never met before, I got his wisdom, and that for me was just beautiful. But I got a lot of wisdom. So I moved along from this amazing man, and I was sitting down alongside the Yarra, and just in the shade, 'cause it was quite warm. I had socks. I opened up the packet, and I was just putting the stickers on top of them, just sitting there watching people, and just trying to figure out what's going on. And this amazing man came past me. Now, I'm really going to hold back on all names because I think that's really important on this one. Um, but this amazing man and his dog came past, and we had this big conversation about life. I just thanked him for doing his best. Now, he was on the streets, and we're having a conversation about how he's going. Just getting his needs met. Where is he up to scratch with everything? Is he staying on top of things? And I asked him, what happened? How did you end up here? Um, He'd been on the streets for 3.5 years, and he actually had a business. He had a house, he had a partner, but through COVID, it got too much. He just couldn't handle it. So he walked out the door. He left his keys, his wallet, and his phone on the table and walked out the door. He chose to be on the streets. And I asked him, so how are you going with that? Are you missing it? Yeah, some parts, but I don't have any pressure anymore. I don't have that constant in my head. He goes, yeah, there's definitely pressures out here, but nothing like that. Yes, I'm actually doing really well. And he looked really, really well. Like he was clean. He was keeping himself, strong and fit. Sun was obviously helping, keeping him, nice and energized with the sun. And it was just a really amazing conversation. Another one that went for at least half an hour. Like, it was just awesome. But again, I asked him what his one bit of advice for life was. With everything that he's encompassed, everything he's seen, everything he's experienced, what's the one thing that he would advise me to do with my life? What's that one thing? Treat everything the same, hopefully with love. And I asked him to explain that. I said, just, does that treat everyone the same? No, treat everything the same. I go, why is that? He goes, because although we're human and we're connecting with one another, we're actually connected into every other part of our environment. Our plants, our walkways. Treat it with love. Treat it with respect. Like just be a part of it because that's we're all one. And I'm like, wow. I said, when did you really get an understanding for that? Where he goes, well, I was so busy doing all my life and really pushing hard. Now that I don't have as much, but I have more. And it was profound to me. But I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, I have a deeper understanding of the impact that all parts of life have. And I'm like, that's pretty profound. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, listen, I've often thought whether or not I should just walk back and just see how things are going. He goes, but I'm just not there yet. And I'm like, thank you so much. What an amazing conversation with an amazing human being. Yeah. So anyway, two conversations down, and I was out all night Saturday night. I really had a ball. The next guy was cracking guy, tucked up, rugged up on Flinders Street Station, um, and I looked I looked at his feet, and his feet were black, and like he was a healthy looking guy, and so I'm looking at him. I'm like, hmm, does he need to speak to me today? Am I going to be interrupting him when I speak to him? So I sort of stood there for a minute and just went. I smiled at him. He smiled back. Said, "Nah, it's time to go and say good day." So I walked over and had a conversation with him and asked him how things were going. And the same old spiel, thanks for doing your best right now. And we had a nice little interaction. It probably went for about 5 minutes. And I asked him, I said, well, what's your one bit of advice for life? I did not expect this one. Go to church. I'm like, wow, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm not a religious man, but I do value the community. I really value the community. Like, you can always get support at the church. Whether you've got nothing or whether you've got everything, you can always get support. And I'm like, wow, that's a big one. Me, I'm not a religious man, but I love it when people have faith in something bigger than themselves, and I encourage people, to look for something bigger than themselves because then it makes sort of fulfills you a little bit more. But to have that from a guy, I really valued that. So I thanked him for that because I think that's a really powerful thing, whether it's your place, you know. I've had conversations in my life in recent years about, what value does a church place? Like they're always in the best locations. They're always, like it's the land holds a lot of value. What's the value of the church? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I learned. The value of the church is that there's always something there. There's always something for someone, and I value that mentality. I value those beliefs. So yeah. So moving along a little bit further. This like I've got so many, but I'm probably going to have to cut myself short. But the next one was at Flinders Street Station, and so this is the next two people sort of mixed in a bit, and it was a profound scenario. I was standing there waiting and looking up the clocks, and there's a guy dressed as a woman. I'm not sure of his orientation, don't really care. And I walked up and said, "G'day, mate. Thank you for doing your best right now." Um, had a, gave him a pair of socks. "What's your name?" Says, "The name's Jill." So, "Oh, fantastic. How you doing, Jill?" And so, what are you up to tonight? And I'm heading out for the night and going to go clubbing and get out and about. I said, giddy up. That's awesome. I've had a few conversations about, where he was from and what Worcestershire or she would. I didn't ask for a pronoun, but I did ask to connect as a human and found out that they were from overseas and they've been here for a little while and they're building their community. It was just epic. And I asked Jill for the one bit of advice. What would it be if you give me one bit of advice? And he said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm like, there's a story behind that. What's going on with that? Yes, yeah, there is, but I'm not comfortable to share it. I'm going, honestly, I just can't thank you enough because just sharing your one bit of advice with me is based upon your experiences. So I really valued you just sharing that with me. That's amazing. So anyway, gave him a hug, her a hug, doesn't matter, I really don't care. Gave the human a hug and said thank you, like thank you for sharing that. As I walked down, I met this amazing guy, and I'm actually going to mention his name because we connected like it was just epic. We had a big conversation about his life, and he's got these wicked sideburns. And um, actually, I won't mention his name. He will know who I'm talking about. Yeah, but he's got wicked sideburns down the point, and I've looked at him and I'm like, dude, they are epic sideburns. He goes, thanks, dude. I said, look, I can understand. So like you've got a ruler and made them to perfection. It's just phenomenal. Anyway, so we're having a conversation. We're talking about his life, and he's sharing um, that he's out and about. He was out for the night waiting for a mate, and he was 59 years age, and he travelled the world, seen a lot of different things, and been a part of a lot of music. And really, he looked really good. Like just the way he presented himself, fit, healthy, great energy from him, and we're sitting there having a conversation, and we're sharing heart to heart. And he talks about his last partner and what he's looking for now, and he's not sure. And I'm like, dude, go and get your heart filled. Like you're giving me your best, and what's coming at me, I'm just lapping up. It's just beautiful. Thank you for being you. Anyway, we're sitting there and under Flynn Street, and he asked him, what's his one bit of advice? And this is amazing. He goes, never miss the moment. I'm pretty sure that's exactly, I'll get it exactly word for word. Live the moment, time is short. Live the moment, time is short. And I said to him, I said, how are we living right now? He goes, it's great, we're connecting. I said, let's embrace this moment. So we looked up at the Flinders Street clocks, had a look at that, looked across the road at Fed Square. Then we looked at the cathedral, then Young and Jackson's, and then we took in all the people. And then I looked him dead in the eye. I said, thank you for staying in the moment with me and sharing this moment with me and filling my heart. I said, right now I'm standing here and my heart is here. Yeah. And you're a part of that moment. I'm living that moment. This time that's measured by seconds and minutes, I'm not. This time that we're spending together, that moment that we are connecting is just stunning. Gorgeous. Pete, if you ever watch this, my heart to yours, thank you. That was a moment in time that I shared my heart with you, and that was stunning. Very, very beautiful moment. Anyway, so we finished up there, and appreciate the comment. And I've walked across Flinders Street and across the road, and there's a lady that does chalk art there, and her name is Sam. And honestly, I love it. She's got a few places around Melbourne where she really tries to keep the chalk art up to date because that's her way of beautifying our community. And I thanked her for that. And you'll often see Sam down there with the tray, getting her money to look after herself. And please, if you're there and you see her art, please drop a couple of coins in if you have them in your pocket because it does help. And Sam does do an amazing job of this artwork. She works really hard to keep it alive for us. She's trying to make things beautiful in a grey city, give it a little bit more life, and I really value that. But it was the guy standing there that uh, I had a conversation with that just kaboom opened my heart and wow, what a moment in time. We had a conversation, the presentation of the socks, and we talked about his journey. And his journey was he's a chippy, and he's got mixed into the wrong crowd, got into the to heroin, had a pretty tough time of it, and then was in and around Dandenong and Melbourne. And what happened for him is he ended up going and staying with a mate in his community, which, although when he's on the street, he's a bit limited in his access of funding and bits and pieces, but he's got a community around him that's sort of support him. But he ended up going in with his mate, and he actually got tenfold worse because of the scenarios that happened there, where they didn't have the help, but they had excess. Um, Opportunity to get more heroin, and he ended up in a lot worse place. So he'd been back out in the street for 3 years, and having the conversation about that and how he's going, he goes, really good. He goes, actually, believe it or not, I just come back from St. Vinny's, and I've actually asked them whether or not I can go into the rehab program. I'm like, dude, that's just amazing. He goes, yeah, I've had enough. And this guy looks really good. Like he's healthy, looking good, knows where to get a feed, knows where to sleep. He's like really looking after himself. Clean cut, clothes looking good, hair look good, really good. And we had this conversation, and I was over the moon that he wanted to do that. And we talked about it. I said, listen, it's a big step, right? It's going to be hard. He goes, yeah, I know. But he goes, well, I think I'm worth it. I said, hell yeah, you are. I said, you're a chippy. I said, you're going to be able to get more work regardless, right? And that that is just stunning, right? Wants to do more. And so many people do, and they just don't know how to get that help, don't know how to take that next step. And rehab's not something that everybody's educated on, but private rehab, you're looking at $80,000 plus for 3 months to get proper care. To actually go through rehab for people like through salvos and that full care, it's a big cost. So we talked about that, and we talked about you got to make it viable for you. You've got to really say, no, I'm really ready. So we exchanged a bit more conversation, but I just I just love that he's a guy that really wanted wanted more and is prepared to put the effort in and has experienced life. As per usual, I asked him for his one bit of advice, and this is the part that really opens me up. Try and smile. Yeah, it makes a difference. How epic is that? This amazing guy that has really experienced life on all ends. His one bit of advice for life is to try and smile, and for me, that says so much. That says that, in the moments that we are struggling, find your smile. Try and smile. Try and work, work it up. It takes effort to make you smile. But where's that effort? Get that effort to make it worthwhile. Always make it count. And, like that, what, what amazing information to get. And so, mate, the big fellow, I'm really hoping that you get in contact with me, because you made a difference to me, and I really want you to know that. So, I have traveled less than 200 meters at this point, and listen to the gold that I've gotten from people from varying backgrounds, varying opportunities. This next one, I moved 5 meters. 5 meters. There's a gentleman who's selling the big issue. And for those that don't know what the big issue is a magazine a lot of rough sleepers actually sell, um, so that they can get some money in. start looking after themselves. But not only that, it gives them a sense of pride. It gives them a sense of connection. Gives them a sense of self worth to get out and be a part of things. Like, and I love it. And if you've never, I'll share this with you quickly. Actually, I'll go a little bit sideways and tell you why it's so important to me. A few years ago now, Oscar must have been around about 5 or 6. So it's got to be 7 years ago, something like that. Anyway, we just finished around the bay, the bike ride. Great bike ride for Victoria. I love it. What a fantastic opportunity for Victoria and for people to get out and test themselves to see how it goes. See what you can achieve. I've just finished that and we're heading back to the hotel to have a shower. And as we're going back, there's a lady selling the big issue. And if I see someone buying the big issue, I'm always going to engage with them and normally buy a magazine off them. And I did that. And Oscar goes, Dad, what's the magazine? And I said, do you mind if I share the story? And she goes, no, it's fine. I said, Oscar, this lady sells the magazine because she's homeless. And that gives her money to survive and to help her do a bit better. What do you mean, Dad? Well, she's homeless. I said, she doesn't have anywhere to live, mate. I said, everybody's got a home. I said, no, mate. And I asked her, where you staying? She said, down the rail yards. And I said, you cool, you're all safe? She said, yeah. And he's just sitting there blown away that this person doesn't have a home. And that's when I told Oscar, actually, mate, I was homeless. Didn't you live with Nana? Not always, mate. Not always. When I was 14, I was on the streets. Mind blown. Yeah. The beautiful thing that happened from that was the next morning. When we'd been out for the night, come back, Oscar woke up in the morning. First thing he says, Dad, I want to go and see that lady. I want to buy that magazine. I want to make sure she's okay. I'm like, Oscar, now I know you're my son. What a beautiful moment. Anyway, completely sidetracked and made it about me, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I want to share with you the difference the big issue makes, like it's an important thing for people, not just to read and to learn about our community or to give money to somebody. It gives people self-worth. It gives people an opportunity to connect, which is what you're about to hear. This amazing guy has a spinal issue. He's got a cane and he found himself not going anywhere in a real world of pain because he just had enough and got to a point where I need to do something. I need to do something. So he chose to go and sell the big issue. As we're talking, we're sharing his story and we're talking about how, things have been for him. He goes, the best thing I've ever done is come out here on the corner of Flinders Street and actually sell the big issue. I am connecting with people. I am talking with people. I'm creating conversations. People get to know my name. He goes, I've never felt so good about being myself. He goes, and quite clearly, my life is deteriorating. And I'm like, dude, that's just epic. I said, I can't thank you enough for being you. I can't thank you enough for stepping up and not just resting on your laurels and just letting things go. You chose to do something for you because you're worth it. And it's like the smile and the energy, this conversation must go on for at least 10, 15 minutes. And it was just outstanding. What do you think his one bit of advice would be? Work to be happy. I'm like, he goes, you've got to put the work in to find the happiness. It doesn't just come. You've got to work for it. He goes, I didn't know that. But now, because of that work I'm putting into getting up and, struggling to get here and get magazines here and get all the bits and pieces, like the online magazines, you can sit there and read it. He's putting that effort in there. How epic is that? Like, what a great opportunity for someone who doesn't, and you got to find your joy. Imagine, young guys coming up and having him speak to them. So You need to work to find your happiness. I found my happiness just in getting out, selling the big issue on the corner. How awesome is that? I've moved maybe 205 meters at this point, and look at the liquid gold. I I can't believe I'm going for half an hour already, but hey, I don't really care. If anyone's listening, I hope you're enjoying it. If not, well, that's okay too. So I'm just so happy to be spreading these joyful messages from people who really do have value for our community and for the people involved in it. I was walking up. I should know the streets better, but I don't. I was walking up the street, and there's two beautiful women coming down, and the energy they carried, the energy that they brought to the streets just by being themselves and being with one another. Oh my God, how epic it was. I'm just, excuse me, I just want to thank you for just bringing so much joy. That what you're sharing with one another is radiating into others. And got in a conversation and asked them for their bits of advice, their one bit of advice for life. And both of them just rock me. And the first one, I'm actually going to give a shout out to, and I'm sure she won't mind. Emily, mate, I loved it. First one, smell the flowers. Smell the flowers. Now, what does that mean to you? For me, and for what Emily says, take the time to smell the flowers. Take the moments in life and grab them and enjoy the little moments so you don't miss them. Smell the flowers. Stop and smell the flowers. Enjoy that moment. And I'm just like, oh, I've just gone, oh, how gorgeous is that? Big hug. Then I speak to my partner. I mean, this is probably the most liquid gold I've got and advice. And I'm going to say your name because Ali, I think you're amazing. I think what you bring to the world is extraordinary. And I want to share with everybody your one bit of advice. Now, I'm going to have to say this a couple of times because it took me a little bit to grab a hold of. Are you ready? At the end of the day, if it's not okay, it's okay. It's not the end of the day. I'll do that again. At the end of the day, if it's not okay, it's okay. It's not the end of the day. Let that sit. It's not the end of the day if it's not okay. It's really not. It's a moment in time that it's uncomfortable. Yeah. It's a moment in time that may not be pleasurable. It's a moment in time that might hurt. But it's not the end of the day. There's more to come. I love it. What an epic opportunity to gain some heartfelt knowledge. I hope you're feeling that. Listen, the list goes on and and on, and I'm sure over the next however long I'll be on this planet, I'm going to keep sharing these little bits of wisdom because they really are. Like imagine, and feel free to put in the comments your one bit of advice for life. If you could give somebody just one bit of advice for life, what would that be? My personal one: nobody ever does something to make the wrong decision. Nobody ever makes a decision to make the wrong decision. Hmm. Have you ever made a decision to make the wrong one? Might have made bad decisions. That's because you made a decision to try something. Ah, oh, this comment here. has a story behind it from a man that I love with all my heart, that I think is an amazing man. And one day I hope he comes up here and shares this with us. Oh, so proud of you. It's got me. You want to get me in the feels right there? Don't take life for granted. Yep, because you've been gone like that, and you never know when. Yep. Sometimes you might be cruising along in life, running along, and then everything changes. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, it's not okay. It's not the end of the day. Oh, all right, okay. That was beautiful. I appreciate that. Please bring more. If they're going to hit me like that, keep them coming. So I want to share one more story with you that is fairly important, um, and especially as you walk around Melbourne. I see so much in the aspect of, you know, oh, I'm going to get this completely politically wrong and whatever. I'll take it, right? But we've got this opportunity called Australia, where it's a migrant country, and there's our Indigenous folk who really were great caretakers of the land, and like I'm a big believer of the rivers, the veins, the energy, the flow of life. We need to look at and protect a little bit more, because we all live here together, and we all like the advice earlier, like that we're all the one thing, and we've got to really take care and look at the bigger picture of who we are and what we've got together, because it's ours. We work together on it. And I look at Australia, and I look at the multiculturalism that it is, and so many of the decisions that are made for that influence political decisions or migration are not made from the people who migrate. They're made from people who are making decisions on a much bigger scale. One day I hope to I hope to get to that table, where I can help with those decisions. But the very really reality is the absolute majority of people who come to Australia for a better life for their family, to give their families a better hope, to give them a better opportunity than what they had. And I had a big reminder of that on Saturday night. I met these beautiful young women having a conversation and talking about life, and then the father came over and we had a conversation, and he's Syrian, and we had a conversation about what it is that he likes about Australia and how he got here, and his path from Syria 12 years ago was through Lebanon and to Australia. When he got here, he didn't speak any English. He had three daughters that he was trying to make safe, from a torn country. And in Syria, he was qualified in four different areas of life, and he gets to Australia and he's not qualified in anything. And he becomes a labourer. He has to learn to speak English. He's in the construction industry, trying to work his way through things and put food on the table for three daughters, so that they can have the opportunity in life to actually do good for them. We sat and we talked about it, and for a good half an hour, about what that meant to him, what was his life experience about, and you could feel it in his words, you could feel it in his tonality and the seriousness of it, but the effort that he had to put into to get here to give his family a better life. Isn't that what we're all about? I look at Australia as this country of people who just want to want a better life for their family, just want to give them a better chance at living well. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I get to walk the streets and connect with people There's people in the comments that I've only met through walking the streets. This beautiful human right now, Narelle. Doesn't matter how many times or how hard you fall. What really matters is that you get back up. That grit that you used to get back up is where your power, strength, and learning is. Narelle, absolutely. Yeah. And you know that. You know that because of, the opportunities that give you your heart. And I think that's so important that all the hardships of life actually give us life. They give us the opportunities to grow. They give us the opportunities to become more humble, to understand more. And may not be the most academically gifted man in the world, but I know people, and I look around and I see this planet, this opportunity called life that we're all existing together on. And I feel we can do more. I feel we can appreciate each other just that little bit more. That we're all on this journey, but we're all so important to one another. Every single person you ever meet will add value to your life. Repeat that. Every single person you ever meet will add value to your life. Sometimes we need to learn what not to do in order to understand what we can do. There's a conversation that I'll be having in the next couple of weeks about that I want to be educated on. I want to sit and have a conversation with, and I will share my views, and with the hope that people come back at me with theirs. Like a little bit online, and I'll be robust in my opinion. I'll be robust in my opinion because of the situations that I go into, and the people that I support, and the people that I care about. Because we're all one. How do we make one another safer? How do we make and by safer I mean give ourselves more freedom of mind to make better decisions? What are the things we can do from love, understanding, rather than fear and squashing? How do we support each other beyond what is the current situation? How do we choose love in a moment that creates pain? How do we choose that? How do we do that? I want to learn that. The only way we're going to do it is to take on tough conversations. Be prepared to be uncomfortable. To understand that when somebody's projecting their experience, that's what it is. It's their experience. In order to create a different opportunity or a different opinion, well, you need to have different experiences. That gives us a better understanding of how we can make better decisions. I'm excited about what's to come for life. I'm excited about what we can do together. I just hope we're brave enough to embrace humanity and then take that opportunity of humanity and put it into the planet and understand how we can work that better. What is it we really need? What is it that really fills our hearts? Hmm. Maybe I'm a dreamer, but I like dreaming. I love connecting with people. I love having a heart to heart and working through situations that are super tough because I know on the other side there's greener pastures because we've gone through the shit. Yeah, we've messed it up, put some good stuff in, and then we've gone through and the grass is greener. But it's only greener where you water it. Hopefully, I'm watering a bit tonight. Anyway, I've really talked for a lot longer than what I'd planned to, but I'm excited. I'm excited about how we get to grow together. I'm excited about the opportunity of our kids. Like, have a look at our kids. How smart are they? You know, how do we nurture them so that they can fall safely, so that they can? I don't want them to. If they get hurt on the way through, so be it. It's where the growth comes from, right? Problem's not the problem; it's how you respond to the problem. It either creates the pain, the lesson, the opportunity. We get to choose depending on how we do that. You know, At the moment, I'm just going to blabber for a bit because I'm pretty excited. I've got smiles for life, an opportunity I didn't see coming. They're running dinners for men. I'd like to get a lot more men to these dinners. I'd like to get a lot more men coming in to just sit with one another because the toolbox for life is in the room. The experience in the room is just outstanding. It's outstanding having all these different life experiences that are gifted to one another, and we can feel the emotion in somebody when they share that story. It's just stunning. Mm. My heart is full. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So, from my heart to yours, have the most amazing evening. Thank you to anyone who takes up any of their precious time and gifts it to listen to one bloke just trying to make a difference. My heart to yours. Have an amazing night. Now I have to find that bloody button. All right, take care. Ciao. Oh, there it is. No, it's not. Is it over there? Where is it? Hmm.